Now, if you ever notice when you come to chicken pens, the chickens usually run up to you to try to get something.
Yeah.
You notice these haven't. My chickens are not malnutrition. And you notice what they're eating is all my yard waste. You see those big old Swiss chard plants? Those came out of my garden here last week. I planted last April and they gone to seed. And so my chickens, who get no grain ever, look at their feathers, how nice they are. They're not picking on one another because they're totally well supported in food. If you look at chickens in pens, they pick on one another because they're malnutrition because they're eating grain. Here's the thing that gets my attention. Chickens and birds in nature aren't fed grain. They get some in the summer when the grass goes to seed, but all year long they're eating grass. They're not fed grain. What's up with us having to feed our chickens grain?
Yeah, it's expensive for organic
It's
grain.
very expensive.
Buy that for our chickens.
And it's not good. Look at how healthy they are eating nothing but my yard waste. They live totally on my yard waste. And you can see by my challenge, Joe, what's happening here. You see my fences are getting very short.
Oh yeah.
You see my garden doesn't need any more soil, but I've got to get it out of here because I'm making too much. You see at all levels I'm being stressed with abundance.
So what are you going to do?
I need Joe to come over here and I'm going to give you some for your wife's pots because this is amazing soil.
Wow.
And we'll give. I'll put this in her pots so you'll grow good stuff.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't bring buckets.
You should. Yeah. Well, you know where I live, so just come and I have a screen over there, and I screen this stuff. It's just, you saw my garden. All that stuff in my garden is right here. Is where it comes from.
Are these chickens here year round?
What's that?
Are they here year round?
All year long, yeah. And all winter long, they eat out of my garden.
You don't get snow out here.
I get snow. They have no problem with snow. Again, if you look in nature, no bird goes out of the snow.
Right.
Again, it's just if we pay attention to nature, all these animals live in nature with no help and do really well. And the ones we're helping aren't doing well.
Yeah, exactly.
And you have no foxes or coyotes out here?
I do, but my dogs live here.
Oh yeah, your dog.
What kind of rooster is that? What's his breed?
I'm not sure. It came someone from Canada brought that to me.
He's huge.
I don't know, his name or what type he is, but he's a nice rooster.
Is he? He has a good temperament?
Yeah.
His
And you
tail,
see all these beautiful nettles that are growing along my fence. You see how thick and nice they are.
Yeah.
In the spring, I eat those every day for dinner.
What did you say?
Nettles is the most
Really?
potent, amazing food on the planet. And in the spring, I have to pick them with my gloves. But when I lightly steam them, they'll sting to it. And I'm telling you, you look on the internet, nettles is potent food. And look how lush green they are. You see, all spring. You see, the whole idea of going to the store to buy food is utter insanity. There's so many things that grow all around you in nature that are really good.
And you clip their wings so they stay.
Yeah. Otherwise, this fence is getting really short.
Yeah.
It's not much of a fence anymore.
Right. Yeah.
And you see how they're always picking and they're stirring and they're see at the feet.
Yeah.
This is the most perfect composting facility on the planet. I tell people this is my soil manufacturing plant. The eggs are a bonus.
And it's not acidic like they always say that chicken manure is.
Well, track with me. Track with me.
Yeah, they always say
The
you gotta
chicken.
mix it.
Look at the chicken manure in this mass.
Yeah.
You can't smell it, and you're hard pressed to even see it
I wish
because there's such a huge volume of yard waste. The manure is lost in the mass.
Right.
You see, chicken manure concentrate is an issue. It's not concentrated here. In nature, nothing's concentrated.
Yeah.
And concentration isn't healthy. And we don't get it. You don't pack things in small spaces.
Yes.
It's not ideal. We don't do well jammed in cities.
So do you throw, you said you throw all your
Everything.
weeds?
Everything's in the house. Everything's in my garden. All my grass clippings. Everything comes here. And the chickens process it all into awesome soil.
And then to take this over to the garden?
I bring my wheelbarrow. And you see again. You see those screens. You see those screens in the chicken house. They have one framed in a wooden frame. I fill it in the wheelbarrow. I fill this stuff on, and I sift it, and I have this totally screened, awesome, no chunks of stuff, gorgeous material, and unlimited. You can see my garden is good, but I got to get this out of here because.
That's what I was thinking. I need to get mine out too because it's pretty deep.
Yeah, and you're gonna when you dig it, you'll just amaze how deep and amazing it is.
Okay.
And then you put a thin layer over the top of your chips every year?
No, I put it in my garden. This is everything in the garden is not wood chips. It's all this stuff. You see how the garden is so much finer than the orchard?
Yeah.
That's all it is.
In the garden.
This is so nice to plant in. It's so broken down and really cool.
Right.
Paul, you like I read the book Chickens for Dummies, and they said that you gotta buy the grid or something for their gizzard. Do you buy that? Like,
Let me tell you a couple things that happened here. My wife complains in the summer because the chicken eggs are so hard to crack. Because they're getting so much calcium from all the greens they eat. I don't give them oyster shells. And my wife can hardly crack the shell. You know where you're getting calcium? From greens, not from milk.
Yep, it's
And
true.
chickens don't get it from oyster shells, they get it from greens.
Preach it.
And the ones in the stupid barns and stores that is feeding you don't get greens. And they're sick. And they're dying. And the eggs are funky. Excuse me? And they're gross eggs. My eggs, when you crack it, the egg is dark orange and it stands up.
Uh-huh.
It's like, it's awesome. And they taste really good. The stuff in the store doesn't taste good. And again, come back to reality. You're an intelligent being. If food doesn't taste good, it's not good. When are you going to get it? I want to show you a pruning demonstration because pruning, very few people on the planet know how to do it. I'm being real. If you look around you, what's being done, stuff's hacked and it looks terrible. It's terrible. It doesn't look good. So you see this plant right here? This is a autumn olive. Someone gave it to me, and I planted it here, and it's growing quite well. Now this is June. This is spring, and this, according to the books, is not the time of year you prune. And I again love just doing all the things that say you can. Now, from my perspective, this plant is grossly overgrown. And you see, my sense is that a plant, the interior structure is as attractive as the foliage. And there's no interior structure, you can't see anything. So we're gonna expose an interior structure and make this plant look cool. Now this is something that is very key. You always prune from the inside out. And in this culture, everyone does the opposite. They prune from the outside. Now you see all this stuff is heading back over. I'm going to open up the center because I want to get this opened up. And so you see I'm cutting very close to the collar. You see all this stuff that's going straight up, I'm getting rid of because I want this branch to come out and develop in a flat manner. And so everything going up and down will come out. You can see already how as this stuff comes out, you're starting to see a nice structure in the plant, where the branches, come up and out. And that will just continue to develop as we keep opening this up. And you see here I've got a lot of density. See right here I've got like these three branches all coming out in the same place. So I take out the center, the one in the middle. You see how that just really opened that space up? See how now all of a sudden now that's that air. And you see how this is going back in to the plant. I'm going to get rid of it. You see how this piece is going up. And this is going down. This is going down. See, I want this to come out just nice and flat. This is crossing over. This is going up into it. Now this is a big piece that's coming out, but you see this is again center. You see this is here, and that branch is there. This is in the middle. And so by taking that out, you see I just freed up that airspace. See, all of a sudden now nothing's working. See, plants should not be touching. Are you following me? They shouldn't be laying on one another. They should have airspace. You see, this is crossing over that one space. This is right underneath. See how I'm taking all the stuff that's going down and up off, and just having nice flat branches.
Would that fruit, olive,
I think it does bear fruit. I haven't had it long enough to know. Because it was given to me and I never had it before, so I don't know anything about it. It's called an autumn olive. That's the name of it.
Excuse me, what was that again?
Autumn, like in the fall, olive. I'm not familiar with it all.
can you grow it from clippings?
I'm not sure. You're sure welcome to take one and try. There'll be plenty of those. Now you see how this branch here, look, you see how this grows through everything? So just get rid of it. You see how that just opens that up? You know? So stuff that's just obviously crossing over that doesn't belong is just an obvious like removal. This is dead wood, so get rid of it. So that's going into that space. So this is going underneath.
See, it would probably take me an hour to prune that because I've been thinking, should I take that out or should
This one or that one?
Well, I've done this once before.
Stand back and go, well. How do you prune a tomato plant?
Like anything, here's the thing about pruning. The principles are the same for everything. Whether you're picking a vegetable, tomato, a rose, everything. It's all about everything having open exposure to light and air, nothing crossing over, and fitting. Look at this. See, pruning is an art form. It's not a science. Now you see how, I don't know about, you see that was just a big clump when you came, and now this character, you see branches and structure, you know, to me it looks so much nicer than that mass. And this is not the time of year that you would be told to do it, but to me it was cluttered, you know, and so it needs attention.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I missed it. What is this?
This is called an autumn olive.
Oh, autumn olive.
Yeah, that's true. It looks like you're showing grease.
Okay, well, does anybody have any more questions?
We could take a cutting.
You can have anything you want here on the ground. Help yourself.
Get kind of curious to see if you do anything.
Sure, yeah, this is plenty of it.
I would love it if we can revolutionize the world with this. and I realize that you're doing this as a garden on a personal scale, but I'm wondering, just really been trying to pray and figure out how can we do this for like little villages or communities of people.
You know what, World Challenge, you know, Dave Wilkerson, he's dead now, but he started that. They're going into communities and they're realizing that just giving them money doesn't get it. And they're training them to grow food, to do husbandry, and this is what we have to do. And the beauty of this, what I love, this can go anywhere in the world. You don't have to bring a tractor behind you. You need no equipment. Just use what's growing there. You know, chip it up and start. And anybody can do this anywhere. And again, it's been happening in nature from day one. And it's all free. So it has such potential to change the whole economic lack in the world, big time.
So a farm can start doing this on a mass
And
scale?
how you start on a farm, and I love this word, the scripture is so powerful. Don't despise the days of small beginnings. I love that. See, in our culture, we want it big now. That's not reality. And the advantage of starting small is that as you progress, you learn a lot. And you get smarter as you go. If you try to do the whole thing at once, you make mistakes, you got to go back and undo it. So again, being patient, taking one day at a time, and everything give thanks, and be open, be in communication with the Father, you just can't help but succeed. It's a given. And it becomes fun. See, stress is the hardest thing on the human body. There's nothing more damaging than stress. Nothing. And to be in a place of gratitude and thanks, and not despising days of small beginnings, take one day at a time. There's no stress there, and you're good. And I'm really thankful for Wayne and for the girls who did this film. You know, what's happened with this film is amazing when you look at it realistically. This film was produced by 2 young women who never did a film before. It was never advertised. It came out 5 years ago, and it's been seen by multiple millions in 220 countries. And the girls now are translating it to 18 languages because of the demand. And I get calls every day from all over the world from people who are just seeing it and are doing it and having their whole lives transformed. And I'll tell you that the ingredient that makes it work has nothing to do with me. It has nothing to do with the filmmakers. It has everything to do with the creator who has his favor and anointing on this film because it's all about him.
Can I ask you a really random question?
Of course.
Because I noticed you're a dog lover. Where do your dogs go to the bathroom? Do they go to the bathroom?
All over now that golden retriever, I don't know where, she's really smart and she knows how hard I work picking up the other ones, and I don't know where she does. But the old one does it out in the grass.
Okay.
And so I got them to pick it up because it's visible.
Okay.
But that retriever is awesome. I'm not sure where she does.
Because mine goes in the chips, and I'm just not sure if I should pick it up or.
Well, my sense is if you're uncomfortable, remove it.
Okay.
You know.
Okay.
Again, if I'm out working my chips, I don't want to go put my hand in it.
Right.
And so I would prefer not being there. So I would remove it as my
Right.
chips.
Okay.
So again, it's just I think my dogs eat well. I don't think there's any toxin about it.
Right.
But I just don't like being on it.
Right.
You know, and so just for convenience and cleanliness, I remove it. I throw out my woods. You know.
Oh, thank you.
If you're not in an area that maybe has a lot of wood, could you basically grow something fast growing that you can chip as it's growing to
my
lay
sense
on the
is
ground?
again, if you look at our culture, when people had large areas, they didn't grow monocultures. They had a woodlot, and they had an orchard, they had a vineyard, they had some chickens. So if something failed, you had something to back you up. And what's interesting, Joel Wallach, remember him, the guy who did Dead Doctors Don't Lie? Dead Doctors Don't Lie. Anyway, he was a veterinarian, and he was really, the government in the 80s gave him a $30 million grant. 30 million, not thousand. $30 million grant to study the importance of minerals on human health. And he found this amazing concept because he had money to travel. So he travels the world discovering cultures who lived over 100 years, 120, 130. And they said they had 3 things in common. The first is they had no electricity. The second is they grew all their own food. And the third was very interesting. They all heated with wood and cooked with wood and put the ashes back in their gardens. He said the most mineral-rich substance on the planet is wood ash. When he said that, I got reminded when my family was in Yellowstone National Park when that fire started. We were there, physically there. And they thought it would take decades for Yellowstone to ever grow back because that fire was dramatic. In 2 years, it's like a fire never happened. And what I got in the spirit was when fire goes through wood, all that's left in the ashes are minerals. Everything else is consumed, but minerals are not destroyed by heat. And he brought up an interesting concept. He says when our food began to be depleted with the discovery of electricity, before electricity, everyone heated themselves with wood and cooked with wood across the planet. That's all there was. And electricity happened, that stopped. And that stopped that input into our gardens, and that's when the mineral deficiency started happening in our food. And I thought it was very,
Which is interesting, when Mount St. Helens blew, it took all the topsoil away, and it took years and years and years and years and years for it to come back.
Yeah. You know what? You know how long it takes? You know, I think it's so awesome happening here. In nature, it takes 100 years to create 1 inch of topsoil. 100 years. And I'm looking at what's happening here, man. I got multiple inches. I've only been here 37 years, but I'm bringing this stuff in volume, and I'm speeding up this process, man. I'm thinking like, yeah, awesome.